Good morning, good morning. Welcome back to another video. Today we're gonna be doing a what I eat in a day video, but everything that I'm eating will be Japanese inspired or Japanese-ish. Some of you may know that I used to do a color series where I would challenge myself to eat only one color of food for the whole day, and of course everything had to be vegan. And I feel like I've done every color under the sun at this point, so we're moving on to other kinds of challenges. But I also thought that this would be a perfect reminder that you can eat almost any cuisine vegan with a little bit of modification, and you don't have to give up your culture to be vegan. For those of you who don't know, I'm part Korean, Japanese, and Taiwanese, and taking inspiration from my culture made eating vegan a lot more fun. So I'm gonna show you some of my favorite Japanese dishes that are easy to make vegan or just so happen to be vegan, and everything else that I eat today. Before we get started, a big thank you to Vermicular for sponsoring this video. Vermicular is a Japanese family-owned brand, and they make this beautiful oven pot, which I'll be using today. I have 2 different sizes, and of course it comes in the most perfect pink shade. This is the shade Pearl Pink, and it actually has a little bit of a shimmery shine to it if you look really closely. This right here is the shallow oven pot. I believe it is the 26 centimeter oven pot, and it's a little bit shorter than the other oven pots that they make. They are enameled cast iron pots that are made with no cadmium or lead, so they're non-toxic and also non-reactive for safe, healthy cooking. Their award-winning designs are made in Japan, and what they're most well known for is precision. Vermicular oven pots have a precision seal with less than 0.01 millimeters of variance, so it's got a really tight seal, which also has an impact on the precision of your cooking. Vermicular is very inspired by health first, and the emphasis on simplicity when it comes to Japanese cooking. It's so much more about appreciating the existing flavors in produce and food that you eat versus over seasoning it. And it works incredibly for vegetables specifically. So I'll show you a couple different ways to cook in the oven pots today. I'll leave a link in the description box if you want to check out more about Vermicular. But to start today, we're gonna make some miso soup. It's a little bit chillier today. And last night I actually prepared a vegan dashi broth. So that was the base of my vegan miso soup. You can find that recipe on my blog. This morning, I'm just gonna stir in some extra add-ins like mushrooms, some tofu, scallions, and add in, of course, my miso paste. I'm using a combination of red and white miso. Here we have breakfast. It might seem a little strange to have soup for breakfast, but it's very common in Japan and a lot of Asian countries. And miso soup is a soup that I feel like people, even outside of Japan, really, really love. I like it with a little bit of ichimi togarashi, which is basically like a Japanese chili flake, you know, like the type that you get served with a pizza or like at an Italian restaurant. It's essentially the equivalent, but made with a different type of pepper. And it's really good. It's just lightly spicy, not too spicy. I would say it's mildly spicy. I really like spice, so maybe I'm biased, but I love this stuff, and they serve it often with like ramen, udon, like any Japanese soups. With miso soup, it's especially good. And then always with some fresh negi or, always with some fresh negi or green scallions on top. And then also a little bowl of rice. I like to pack my miso soup with lots of tofu and mushrooms, but it's really up to you, and you could add other vegetables for sweetness. Like adding daikon is really nice because it gives it this like natural sweetness from the radish. Anyway, here we go. This recipe, by the way, is on my blog if you want to check it out. Super easy to make and tastes so much better than when you make it from like an instant packet like many people do. If you've only tried miso soup at like a sushi restaurant here, I highly recommend making it on your own from scratch. It is a different experience and so, so good. So good. I'll see you guys in a little bit when we make some lunch. Okay, so for lunch, I want to keep things pretty simple because lunch is the meal where I'm usually the busiest in the day and I have the least time to cook. So I'm gonna actually eat some leftover Japanese curry, which is a recipe from my cookbook. Won't be out for a while, but it's a Japanese curry made at home, and I have some leftover in the fridge, so I'm just gonna microwave that, and I'm gonna pair it with some steam roasted veggies. Steam roasting can be done in the Vermicular oven pots, and it's basically a combination of steaming and roasting, and it helps to bring out the natural flavors in your vegetables. The food never has to really touch water, so it's different from boiling it, and you end up with vegetables that are tender on the inside as though they've been steamed, but all the benefits of flavor and like the roasty exterior of the vegetable. So it's like the perfect combination and technique for cooking, and it's really, really good with veggies. I'm gonna cut some kabocha squash. I found this at the market recently. Then I'm gonna also pair that with some leftover broccoli that I have to use up. One of the characteristics of Japanese cooking is to keep the flavors and the seasonings fairly simple and to instead focus more on the actual flavors of the food itself, whether that's fish, if you're non-vegan, or if you are vegan, then vegetables. But simplicity is definitely a big focus in Japanese cooking, and it's more about precision and cooking technique than over seasoning vegetables. Curious to see how the kabocha will do steam roasted. And I'm gonna dump it into this bowl with some olive oil. You really don't need too much, which is another feature of steam roasting. Just enough to toss to coat it. And then all you need to really season it with is salt, because the vegetables will taste that good, but we can always add a little bit of extra something after. It's really nice too because you don't have to preheat anything to steam roast your vegetables. Like you don't have to turn the oven on. So in the summer months, like right now, when it's still a little bit hot, especially in California, it's nice to not have to turn the oven on. Right. So I put medium heat. All you need is a tablespoon of water, and because of the grooves on the bottom of the oven pot, the veggies don't really come into that much contact with the water directly. And we'll add our kabocha. Quick and convenient lunch, but I'm really excited to try this steam roasted kabocha squash. Usually I feel like kabocha can get really dry, so let's see. It's almost buttery and creamy, and then the outside still tastes like a roasted vegetable. So it really is the best of both worlds, and all I added was salt. I ended up not adding the curry powder because I felt like I didn't need it. I'm gonna eat my lunch while on a call because I have to take that in like 2 minutes. This is why lunch is such a difficult meal for me sometimes, so convenience is key. I'll see you guys in a little bit when we make some dinner. Having a little snack, and I thought I would show you guys because, well, I'm doing a what I eat in a day today, but also because it does fit the Japanese theme a little bit because we used matcha. So this is a recipe that I'm working on today. I'm filming a video and I just took photos of it, but it's a matcha granite, which is basically like a scratched shaved ice. It's similar to Japanese kakigori because it's got that shaved ice texture, even though the process is very different, but it's so good. I couldn't resist putting some mochi on top. Normally, I don't really consider recipes that I'm testing for the blog or for video content to be part of like what I eat in a day, but this is the only recipe that I'm filming today, and it just so happens to fit perfectly. You see how it's like a shaved ice texture? And then I have some little mochi that I just boiled and threw on top for extra texture. By the time this video is up, this recipe will probably be on my website already and on Instagram, so I'll link it below. It is time to do some dishes, but I will see you guys at dinner. All right, so it's been a day. We are finally almost at the end of the day, and I don't know about you guys, but I always feel like I need to be in something comfy at the end of the day. And I want to make something for dinner that's super quick and preferably no cook. Like I don't want to be over the heat at all. The light starts to come into my home at the end of the day and makes it really hot, which I love, but also puts me in the mood for something light, fresh, and cold. I think we're gonna make a cold tofu dish, which takes all of 2 minutes to throw together. And then I'm gonna make a quick salad dressing, carrot ginger, and throw that over whatever greens I can find in the fridge. The tofu is not necessarily traditional Japanese just because normally you'd make it with like bonito flakes on top. So the seasoning that I'm gonna be doing leans a little bit more Korean Chinese, but I just felt like it would pair really nicely with this mushroom, shallot, garlic crumble that I have, and chili oil. And so that's what we're going with. And then for the salad, I just want to eat some greens, and I'm gonna make a carrot ginger dressing, which isn't exactly authentic Japanese cuisine either, but it's something that you'll find at almost any sushi or Japanese restaurant in the US. So I feel like that's a pass. We're gonna give it a pass for today's video. Both of these recipes are really easy, no cooking required, and hopefully should be done in under 10 minutes. Let's get into the cooking. And some chili oil. Carrot ginger, some shallot, tamari, mirin, sesame oil, some water. carrot ginger dressing is so good. I could literally eat it on anything. Look at how good this tofu looks. It's so pretty, and this is so easy to make if you're ever in a pinch. I love that it's high protein, so it's actually like a pretty substantial meal and like very nutrient dense, but literally takes 5 minutes, not even, to make. I just love tofu. All right, beans, I hope you enjoyed today's video. This was so much fun because I got to revisit a lot of my Japanese favorite foods. And I hope it shows you that, like I said at the beginning of the video, vegan cuisine is not just limited to Western foods, even though I feel like that's what we see the most often, like buffalo cauliflower and sandwiches. There's so much that you can eat. And I really, really encourage you to take inspiration from your own cultural background for vegan dishes. Some of the recipes that I shared today are actually sneak previews from recipes in my cookbook. And so they won't be available for a little while, but it will be available to pre-order very soon. Until then, the recipes that I can share that are from the blog, I will link down below. And I'll also leave a link to Vermicular, the sponsor of today's video. A big thank you again to them. The pots are absolutely stunning. If you like pink, like I do, these are the perfect shade of pink. And cooking with them makes a noticeable difference in taste, which I really, really love. We love things that are functional and aesthetic all in one. All right, we'll see you guys in another video soon. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Comment down below if you have any recommendations for other cuisines I should eat in a future video.